up, guys? I'm Matt. This is MotoWorks, and we got the subframe out of the Smart car this morning here. How'd that go, Dawson?
Bad.
What? It went bad?
Huh?
I think you had fun.
No, I didn't.
So I got this new cart. It's a, a hydraulic lift table. I got this new lift table to, jack this up. And it turns out I don't have the car up in the air enough because the cart itself is like 9 inches high. So the problem I was running into trying to take this out is when I was supporting the back of this frame here, these lower frame tubes, the car just wasn't up in the air enough, and I couldn't lower this assembly down enough to clearance, get it clearance through there. So I ended up taking the board I had supporting this out, let it rest on the tires, and that worked to get it out. But once the engine is in and everything is set up, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it back in the same way. We'll have to wait and see. If I have to, I'll just get taller jack stands, and I'll get, again, I got tons of room. I can lift the back of the car up higher if I have to. But that cart worked pretty good as far as supporting that, so I think I'm going to try and figure out how I can get this car off the ground higher. So before we actually put the engine here onto the frame there, I am going to clean this up a little bit. It is pretty rusty and nasty, like I said in the last video. So I'm just going to clean a bunch of this rust up. And I got POR. It's called Paint Over Rust. And I'm just going to coat this entire frame with that. It's a gloss black, so it should look good and should give it some rust protection for the future, basically future-proof it. But that's where we're at this morning. I do have a couple of things that I want to button up in here to get everything ready. So when I do get the paint and I clean everything up, I will be able to just pop this all back in, and it should go smoothly from there. But yeah, we're making some progress. Dawson got a new train, right? Awesome. So in here, I do have to put the new shift cable on, so I think that's what we're going to work on today / tonight. So I'm going to clean this interior up. I'm also going to vacuum everything out in here and get that shift cable, all that stuff set up, and then, like I said, everything will be ready to go. So when I'm done painting that, we'll just reassemble everything and try and knock it out in a weekend. But that's the progress so far. I started to clean up the interior here, vacuuming the carpet a little bit. And then I removed the shifter mechanism because I'm putting that parking cable in. I have the old cable out here. And then this is the part here you have to access inside this parking housing. Parking gear shift housing, I guess. I don't know what the heck you want to call it. But there's a few things that are crappy about this. And one of them is these bolts. So they aren't a Torx bolt. They're like a 5-sided, I don't have it bolt. But the nice thing is, my pliers worked really good at gripping the outside of them and loosening them. They weren't super tight. So I got them out, luckily, with all pliers, and I'm actually going to be putting different bolts in their place in case I have to take this apart again. Hopefully I don't. But I figure this is a teachable moment here on how to actually replace this mechanism here. And it's actually pretty, I wouldn't call it simple, but the way you do it is actually pretty easy. So inside here, if you see this, there's a little screw here. And when you turn it, here, I'll show it to you in the lock position. So that's the lock position where both those red marks line up. That locks the cable in place, turn it clockwise, and that unlocks it. So with it unlocked, I can put my cable in. And I'm going to say just put that cable all the way in there till it bottoms out. It's probably the way they want that set up. So all the way in. Not the easiest to do, but there we go. That's all the way in there. And then this lock just keeps that from coming back out. So that's all the way in, and then we will lock that in place. And I'm probably showing you this wrong, but oh well. I guess we'll find out, won't we? So get that there. Of course that wire's in my way. There like that, and we're gonna lock it, and boom. Now that won't come back out. It's locked in place there. It actually looks like let me see if I can see what's going on inside there. Don't actually see anything in there, but that's locked. It's not coming back out. So we'll just lock that bad boy back in there, and we'll hold it tight with this clip here. This little white clip goes around the big end here, and then that just holds that cable in place. See what I could do. One-handed, always fun. There we go. So my cable is held in just like that. I don't know if there's actually a special way to hold that in, but seems to be just fine the way it is. I guess we'll find out when I put it all back together if I did it correctly or if I need to adjust something, but that's something new I learned, and I don't know, maybe you learned something as well. So we got the nice new cable on there. Should take care of our parking issue, getting it back into park. And I disposed of these bolts for good and put in their place. It's nice 10mm bolts. That way, future me will thank myself, especially if I screwed this up and need to make a cable adjustment. At least that'll be easier to get out. So I'm gonna re-vacuum everything in here. That was just to kind of get a bunch of the crud out of there. This car was broken into. I keep finding little bits of glass all around here. So at some point, somebody felt the need to break into a smart car. Now I do know that if you lock the key in here, there are no physical locks on this car. So it's all internally done, the locking system. There's no little buttons that stick up or things that pop out. So if you lock the keys in here, you're pretty much, I guess, screwed unless you find somebody that knows how to pick the locks on these. So I'm wondering if somebody didn't just bust out, because this piece of glass had writing on it. So I'm thinking somebody busted out this piece of glass and they just replaced it. But yeah, I keep finding little shards of glass everywhere in here. And I'm thinking this car was broken into at one point. But the cable's in. That's done. Kind of checking off just the little odds and ends on my list of things to do before, you know, I start reassembling the frame. Haven't gotten my paint yet for that, so just doing the little jobs. All right, guys, I didn't really have that much for this upload here, but I did get that cable installed, and I did get the subframe out. I got that painted. I'll just show you that here in a second. But yeah, I didn't get a lot done. And sometimes that's how it goes with these projects. You can go a week and not get much done. So that and my little guy, he just, there's not been really that many things for him to do. So once I start getting the little pieces and they all start falling in place, you know, I got this painted here. I'll show you. But I just coated the subframe or cradle with this POR 15. I just got this kit here on Amazon. It was like 25 bucks. I need a little bit more. It came with a 4-ounce canister of the POR paint, and it actually coated it nicely on the top here. So 4 ounces, a 4-ounce can, you know, coated the whole top side of this subframe. So I did order another 4-ounce can, and hopefully that gets here within the day or two so that I can get started. I'll flip this over and then I will coat the bottom side. Just get the, you know, you can see there's some spots that I didn't get. But again, I'll probably be able to easily access those spots once it's flipped over on the other side. But once I get that coated, then I'm going to attach the engine to the cradle, and then I'm going to get it into the car. So the car is definitely ready for that engine. I got all my nice new cable here. You saw me install that. And I still have to reassemble the interior, but that's, I mean, this car goes together pretty easily. So that's the progress so far with where we're at on the Smart car. So hopefully the cable install, you know, that's why I played that at the beginning of the video. Hopefully that's helpful to somebody out there that's trying to figure out how to replace that parking cable. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you for checking out the video. And in the next upload, I don't really have anything else except for just painting that cradle. And then this thing can go together. So I might just quickly paint that once I get the paint. And then I'm just going to start assembling this thing, just hustle. See if I can't get it done in 1, maybe 2 nights and have this thing running. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for checking out the videos to this point. I'm Matt. This is MotoWorks.